Hello, yeah. They better,
What up, y'all? This is Brother E coming at you from the BX Elements Church with another mic check. And the other day, I'm really excited to share this with you because I think it's an interesting topic. The other day I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I'm praying that one day you'll get to hear and see him speak because he has a lot to share and a wealth of knowledge. But the conversation was about when we had a defining moment in hip-hop. And you might think that you don't have one. You might think, oh, well, you know, I've always been in it. But there had to be a beginning for you in it. And I won't front, it took me a long time to remember my defining moment. I had to really sit back and think and look back at my life and see when and where hip-hop came into my world. And so I'm going to give you a little glimpse of that, a little glimpse into that evening. I was with a girlfriend, and we were alone in the crib, and you know, we were sitting on the couch, and the music is playing. We had the radio on, and I had my arm around her, and all of a sudden, I kind of remember the DJ say something like, we got this new sound, this new song, something like that. And all of a sudden, I hear boom, 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 boom. You know what that is, right? It's Rapper's Delight. And I heard that, and I had my arm around her. The moment I started hearing that boom, 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 I said, oh, that sounds familiar, because I knew the sample. And then all of a sudden, homeboy starts rapping. I can't even remember it right now. What is it? Oh, he says, so what you hear is not a test. You know what? Why don't you sing it with me? Come on, let's go. You know you're going to love it. So what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat. And me, the crew, and my friends, we're going to try to move your feet. Now, that's going on, and my arm is coming off. And she's going, what's the matter? I'm like, hold on, I want to hear this. And she said, wait, but I'm saying, hold on, I want to hear this. And so, what's the next one? Rapping to me, try to move your feet. And he says, well, I am Wonder Mike, and I like to say hello. And that was it, right here. Here was my defining moment. All right? This is the point where my worlds all collided, because I came from a home where we didn't discriminate. My mom, you know, she had her old school tendencies, but she treated everybody pretty much equal. She might have said bad things about people because she was old school, but she didn't treat anybody different. And actually, my best friend, one was an African American, the other one was an Italian American. These were my best friends, the dudes I grew up with, Paul and Frankie. And so that was my life. I understood racism. I had heard some of Dr. King's speeches. I had read him in school. I understood this. And so here it comes. First time I heard hip hop. This was, at least that I remember, this was it. I might have heard it on the block, but this was the one that got me. And so he says, well, I am Wonder Mike, and I like to say hello to the black, to the white, the red, and the brown, the purple, and yellow. Do you understand what that was for me? That was, see, I'm Puerto Rican, and I grew up in New York City. So in New York City, I was the spit. And when I went to PR, I was the gringo. I was the American kid. So I didn't even really have a place of my own. I went to a school with a bunch of really intelligent Asians. And so even there, I was like I wasn't that intelligent. And I wasn't Asian. And so I had some of that going on. I had no place. As a matter of fact, even on my block, I had no family on my block. And so I fought everybody. I used to fight brothers, cousins, sisters all the time. I was the only Puerto Rican on my block to rock a dashiki. I walked around with a dashiki and a pick, the fist pick. My hair is dead. If I let it grow, it's dead. And I'm walking around with a pick in my pocket and a dashiki. You know, a dashiki. Yeah, it was off the hook. My role models were the Jeffersons. And what's the Dynamite? What's that? I forgot the show. Good Times. Those were my role models. I didn't have Puerto Rican role models. But then all of a sudden, Wonder Mike says what's in my heart. And this was my defining moment in hip hop, where I was no longer a Puerto Rican in New York or New York in Puerto Rico. I wasn't a Puerto Rican not that good in school with a bunch of Asians that were doing well. I wasn't that. All of a sudden, this dude is speaking what's already in my heart. He's giving words to what I can't articulate. And I felt like I had found my place. just so you know, in case you don't know, the original Rapper's Delight is like 17 minutes long. So I sat there and I listened to the song. Next thing, when the song finished, the girl's coming out of the room and she says, "You need to go." And that was the end of my evening. But I had found my place. I found a place I belong. And if you know hip hop, graffiti artists, DJs, rappers, breakers, b-boys, they were all different races, all different ethnicities. And that's what hip hop does. It brings all different kinds of people together. Even musically, it takes from all kinds of different music and blends it together, makes it into something new. And so I had found what I was already becoming. I was a Puerto Rican in New York, and New York and Puerto Rico, and all of this stuff all put together. I was multi-ethnic just by myself, and that was hip hop. And then now, as a believer, I've taken all of that stuff and I've put it in Christ, which is just another part of my cultural background. And so that was my defining moment in hip hop. And it still rocks me. When I think about it, I get excited. And think about yours. If you're into hip hop, think about your defining moment within the culture. You might have to think for a while. I know I did. Anyway, that's the mic check. Peace.